Today we are discussing first chapter of 9th standard, that is the structure of atom. In that we have learned something, right, in the part 1 video. Dalton's atomic theory and the Sir Humphrey Davy and the scientist Michael Faraday. This all we studied in the part 1 video. Now let us study the other development that did in the chemistry or in the study of the structure of atom. So the next scientist who studied about the structure of atom is J.J. Thomson. You can see in the picture there is a discharge tube, right? There is a figure of discharge tube. In that there is a cathode and anode. These two are the two metal pieces. Cathode is also metal and anode is also a metal. And inside the tube there is a air in the low pressure. Inside the tube there is a air in the low pressure, and it was connected to a high voltage battery or high voltage generator. So what happens here? Electricity passes from the battery and it goes to the cathode, and from the cathode some rays are coming out, or cathode is emitting some rays, and these rays are absorbed by the anode. These cathode rays are absorbed by the anode. He did this experiment. J.J. Thomson did this experiment and he concluded that, so the rays are going, right? These rays contains the negatively charged particle. The rays contains negatively charged particle, and he named it as a electron. He named it as a electron. And this he changed the gases. He changed the gases. That is hydrogen, helium. So many gases are there. No, he changed the gases inside this tube. And after that, he found out that all the gases are giving these cathode rays. All the gases are giving these cathode rays, and all the cathode rays contains the negatively charged particle. The negatively charged particle, and he called it as a electron. And this particle possesses energy and also mass. What he said? The cathode rays contains negatively charged particle, and this particle has a mass and also a energy. This negatively charged particle has energy and also mass, and he called it as a electron. And the scientific world approved this theory in the 1897. And after that the studies are going. The development is there in the science, right? So the next scientist, Ernest Rutherford. The scientist Rutherford, he did some experiment. The name of the experiment is gold foil experiment. The name of the experiment is gold foil experiment. You can see the figure, right? The experimental setup of Rutherford is given in the figure. What you can see? You can see a source, right? And this source emitting some rays, and these rays are falling on or hits on gold foil, a thin gold foil, and this thin gold foil is surrounded by photographic plate. The thin gold foil surrounded by photographic plate, right? So from the source the rays are going, right? These rays contains positively charged alpha particle. The rays contains positively charged alpha particle. What happens here? This alpha particle hits to the gold foil. Alpha particle hits to the gold foil. So now see the another picture, right? These are the enlarged atoms of gold foil, or the big size of atom of gold foil. alpha rays are directly passing through the atoms. Some rays are directly or easily passing through the atoms. But some rays are bending, right? Some rays are bending and some rays are coming back. Some rays are coming back. Some rays are bending. Some rays are easily passing through the atoms. So many rays are easily passing through the atom, right? Hence, he told that the major part of atom is empty. The major part of atom is empty. Hence, the rays are easily passing, right? But in the some position or in the middle of the atom or inside the atom, there is a small part. There is a small part where all the positive charge is concentrated. Where all the positive charge is concentrated. Hence, there only the some rays are coming back by hitting that positively charged concentrated part. Right? So, this region he called as nucleus. This region is called as nucleus. Which region? The positively charged concentrated in the center of the atom is called as nucleus. Positively charged concentrated part present in an atom is called as nucleus. In 1911, the scientific world approved this. In 1911, the scientific world approved this. After that, he was doing experiment. After that, he find out in 1920, the particle responsible for the positive charge in nucleus is called proton. The positive charge present in the nucleus is because of a particle called proton which is present in the nucleus, and this proton has a charge opposite to the electron. Proton has the charge opposite to the electron. So what is the charge of the electron? It is negative. The charge of the electron is negative. So opposite means what? Positive, right? So charge of the proton is positive and the mass of the proton is equal to the hydrogen atom. So he also find out that uncharged particle present in the nucleus, but he cannot explain more about this, or he can't explain more about the uncharged particle present in a nucleus. Later this experiment was going out, right? The scientist will always making the experiments. So at the end, James Chadwick, he told that the chargeless or uncharged particle present in the nucleus is called as neutron, and he given is the name as neutron, or the chargeless or uncharged particle present in the nucleus is the neutron. Mass of neutron is equal to the hydrogen atom. The mass of the hydrogen atom is equal to the mass of the neutron. Now we studied electron, proton, neutron which is present in the atom, right? So let us study features of electron, neutron, proton. Okay. In the table you can see that electron, proton, neutron. So what is the charge of the electron? Charge of the electron is negative. Charge of the proton positive, and the neutron it is chargeless. It does not have the charge. So what is about mass? Mass of the electron is very less. Mass of proton is equal to that of the hydrogen atom, and the mass of neutron is equal to that of hydrogen atom. So where did electron is present? Seen outside the nucleus. Seen outside the nucleus. Proton seen in the nucleus. Neutron seen in the nucleus. So as a conclusion, what we can tell? The proton and neutron is present inside the nucleus, and proton has a positive charge and the neutron is a chargeless, and the electron seen outside the nucleus. The electrons are seen outside the nucleus, and the charge of the electron is negative, charge of the proton is positive, and the neutron is chargeless or uncharged particle present in the atom. So we are studied so many scientists in this chapter, right? Who are they? Let us see one by one. Dalton is the first scientist who gave the atomic theory. Dalton is the scientist who gave the atomic theory. And after that, the Sir Humphrey Davy. What he did? What he found out? He found out the charged particle. That is, the one is the positive charge and another one is the negative charge. So, which is the next scientist? That is the Michael Faraday. The third scientist we studied is Michael Faraday, and what he did? He is the father of electricity. He is the father of electricity. What he did? He passed the electricity to the liquids, and liquids are divided into components, and he given the law of electrolysis, right? He given the law of electrolysis. And the scientist J.J. Thomson, what he did? He found out the electron. J.J. Thomson found out the electron. And what the Ernest Rutherford did? He found out the nucleus and also proton. And the James Chadwick, he find out the neutron. The James Chadwick find out the neutron. So, we studied the particle present in an atoms, right? So, what may be the structure of an atom or how it is? So, now we studied the particles present in an atom, right? So, let us familiarize how it is or what is the structure of atom. The scientist first given the structure of the atom is Rutherford. He given a planetary model of atom. The solar system is there. You studied in the social, right? How is it? In the middle, so sun is there, or in the center, sun is there, and all the planets are revolving around the sun, right? As same as that, he given the model for the atom. That is, in the center, nucleus is present, and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. The electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So, this is the Rutherford's model. What he said? He said that the atom has a center, and the center is nucleus, and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Okay. He failed to give an explanation for the doubt of scientists. He failed to give an explanation to the doubt of scientists. Let us see what is the doubt of scientists. The scientists telling that the electrons are revolving around the nucleus, right? So when they revolving, they loses energy, right? When a process occurs, there is a loss of energy, right? So when these electrons are revolving, they can lose energy, right? So when they losing energy, what happens? They will collapse into the nucleus, because in the center of the nucleus is there and the electrons are revolving around it. So after losing the energy of the electron, what may occur? They will collapse into the nucleus, right? They will collapse into the nucleus. So doubt of the scientist, this one. Rutherford cannot give a proper explanation for this doubt. Hence, this model is ruled out or discarded. The planetary model of atom by the Rutherford is discarded. So, after the failure of Rutherford's model, the new model was came. That is the Bohr model, or the scientist Niels Bohr given this model. So let us familiarize the postulates of the Niels Bohr model. The first postulate is the electrons revolve around the nucleus in a circular path or in a orbit, or it was also called as shells. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in a path called as orbit or the shells. What is the second one? Electrons in each shell have a definite energy. Hence the shells is also called as energy levels. Electron in each shell have a definite energy. Hence shells are also called as energy levels. You can see in the slide, right? So next one. Let us see the third postulate. That is, as long as an electron revolves in a particular orbit, it has a definite energy, or the energy remains constant. Let us see the fourth one. That is, the energy of the shells increases as the distance from the nucleus increases. Energy of the shells or orbit increases as from the nucleus, or the distance from the nucleus is increases. So next one is the shells around the nucleus can be numbered from near to the nucleus as 1, 2, 3, 4 as number, or we can give the capital letter of the English, that is a K, L, M, N. We should name from the nucleus, not from the outer side. These are the postulates of the Bohr model. I will repeat. First one is the electrons revolve around the nucleus of an atom in fixed path called the orbit or shells. What is the second one? Electrons in each shell have a definite energy. Hence, shells are also called energy levels. What is the third one? As long as an electron revolves in a particular orbit, its energy remains constant. What is the next one? The energy of the shells increases as the distance from the nucleus increases. What is the last one? The shells around the nucleus can be numbered from the nucleus as 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can give the capital letter of English as a K, L, M, N. Let us see the model of an atom given by the Bohr. So you can see the figure, right? In the middle there is a nucleus. This is the nucleus, and what is present in the nucleus? Proton and a neutron is present in the nucleus, and these are the shells or orbits where the electrons are revolving, or these are also called as main energy levels. The orbit or shell or main energy level. What is the Bohr model? In the middle, nucleus is there. In that, proton is present, neutron is also present, and there are the shells around the nucleus, and in the shell or orbit, the electrons are revolving. And how we can give the name for the shells or orbits? As a capital letter English, that is a K, L, M, N from the nucleus, or we can give the number as 1, 2, 3, 4 from the nucleus. This is the Bohr model of an atom. We studied two models, right? One is the Rutherford model of an atom, and another one is the Bohr model of an atom. So, as you know, in the atom, positively charged proton is there and also negatively charged electron is there. Why atom is a chargeless? Why this atom does not have any charge? This atom does not have any charge, right? Or if you consider any atoms, the atoms cannot have charge. Why? Come with answer in the next class. I will see in the next class. Thank you.